Long before Star Wars imagined galactic battles, before Blade Runner questioned the future of humanity, and decades before dystopian sci-fi became a staple of cinema, there was Things to Come, 1936. This isn't just another science fiction film. It's a bold prediction of the future, penned by the legendary H.G. Wells himself. Imagine watching a film in the 1930s that envisions a century-long war, a global collapse, and the rebirth of civilization through technology. Today, we're diving deep into Things to Come, a film that dared to look ahead. Was it a visionary masterpiece or a misguided dream? Let's find out. To understand Things to Come, we have to step into the mind of one of the greatest science fiction writers of all time, H.G. Wells. By the 1930s, Wells had already made his mark with The War of the Worlds, The Time Machine, and The Invisible Man. But this time, he wasn't just telling a story, he was predicting the future. Wells personally wrote the screenplay for Things to Come, ensuring that his vision was accurately translated to the big screen. Directed by William Cameron Menzies and produced by Alexander Korda, this film was a massive undertaking. Unlike the whimsical sci-fi of its era, this movie was a serious and philosophical look at human progress and destruction. The 1930s was a time of great uncertainty. The Great Depression was in full swing, tensions were rising in Europe, and the shadow of another world war loomed over humanity. Wells saw this chaos and projected it forward. What if war lasted not for years, but for decades? What would civilization look like in the aftermath? Things to Come was his answer. The film begins in the fictional city of Everytown on Christmas Eve, 1936. People celebrate, but tensions simmer beneath the surface. Then, in an instant, war erupts. This sequence is eerily prophetic. The film was released 3 years before World War II began, yet it accurately predicts the scale and devastation of modern warfare. We see bombings, collapsing buildings, and chaos in the street. What makes this scene chilling is how quickly civilization falls apart. This isn't the kind of war Hollywood usually depicted at the time. There are no heroic charges, no patriotic victories, just destruction and despair. And the war doesn't end in a few years. It drags on 4 decades. Fast forward to the 1970s. Yes, the 1970s, as imagined from 1936. Civilization has collapsed, and warlords rule over the ruins. One such ruler, the brutish chief of the airlords, keeps his people in a medieval state, rejecting technology and progress. This is a fascinating take on the post-apocalyptic genre. Unlike later films where survivors band together, here we see regression, a world where knowledge is feared and lost. But hope arrives in the form of scientists and engineers who still dream of rebuilding civilization. And then, out of the darkness, comes a revolution, led by a group of technocrats determined to restore progress. One of the most breathtaking aspects of Things to Come is its vision of the future. By 2036, humanity has finally rebuilt itself, not into a dystopian nightmare, but into a utopian wonderland. We see towering white cities, gleaming spaceships, and scientific advancements beyond imagination. But this progress comes with a cost. The rulers of this new world are not politicians, but engineers and scientists. It's a society ruled by intellect and reason, a stark contrast to the war-driven world of the past. But not everyone embraces this new world. The film raises a critical question. Is endless progress truly the answer? Some rebel against it, fearing that humanity is losing its soul in the pursuit of knowledge. At its core, Things to Come is more than a science fiction film. It's a time capsule of 1930s hopes and fears. It asks big questions about war, progress, and the fate of humanity. Even nearly a century later, those questions remain unanswered. So, what do you think? Was Things to Come a visionary masterpiece or a flawed utopian dream? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Science Fiction Journey, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into sci-fi classic. Until next time. Keep exploring the wonders of science fiction.